Hi Upper Primary, welcome to today's performing arts lesson and day 7 of our choreography competition. So let's quickly recap what we've looked at so far. So we are really close to submitting our work and there's only a few more dance elements to look at before it is showtime and time for the competition. So you need to check your dance has got everything we've looked at in the last 6 days, which are music, style, have you chosen a narrative or an abstract dance? That means does it have a story or not? Levels, have you used different shapes, sizes or scale, pathways, speeds or tempo, and of course what we looked at yesterday was those different dynamics. So there should be loads going on in your dances at the moment. So day 7, and our new dance word today is structure. So before I explain a little bit more what that means in dance, can you have a think to yourself or tell someone in the room if you can remember any of the words that I used when we were back and I was teaching you dance routines on YouTube, any of the words that I used to use to explain different sections of a song. So we might repeat a certain section every time something happens. What are some of the words we use to describe sections of a song? Think to yourself or tell someone in the room. Okay, hopefully you thought of a few. There was quite a lot actually when I was thinking back. So here's some answers. There are, of course, the verse, the structure, there's the introduction, so normally the piece of music before the singing starts. We can have an instrumental in the middle. There's a middle 8, which is the section that sounds nothing like anything else in the song. We have the bridge, which is normally the section between the verse and the chorus, and the fade out right at the end, which might be a little bit of music to finish off the song. Hope you got loads of those then if you can remember them. So structure in dance. So just like the song has all of those sections to create a structure, or movies would have a beginning, middle and end to a story, dances also really importantly need a structure. This makes the dance look organised, it gives it some familiarity to the audience, and it just makes it more enjoyable when you can almost see what's coming next. If there's something that's the same and it's repeated, then it's pleasant for the audience to watch and recognise those things happening. So just like we have on the side of the screen, this is a unicorn sparkle cake, apparently, according to Google. And just like baking this unicorn sparkle cake, we need to add some layers to our dance to make it more interesting. So the very beginning, how are you going to grab the audience's attention and not make them switch off? So you have got to really hit them hard with the very beginning of your dance. Some ideas what you can do include starting off stage and entering during the music. Of course, that can be coming on from the sides, coming on from the front, from the back, wherever. Begin on stage, which of course is what we did for all of our online dance lessons. You could start in a low position and gradually get up to build some kind of tension. You could start facing the back so the audience can't see your face to add some mystery. Anything like this can make a strong beginning. And of course, save the best for last. So as we can see on this screen, we've got our beautiful ballerina doing a huge bow and the audience are going wild. They're all stood up from their seats and clapping wildly. How can you make sure your dance gets the same reaction? So your ending needs to be super strong. Have a think to yourself, what are some of the ways you could end your dance so the audience know when to clap? Have a little moment to yourself or tell somebody in the room. Okay, hopefully you got some ideas there. It's very similar to what we said about the beginning. So you can leave the stage as the music is ending. You can end on stage with a grand finish and a strike of a pose, a freeze. You could finish by falling to the floor, finish by facing the back. There's loads of different ways, but of course you have to hold your stance if you're staying on stage and keep very, very still, so it's a clear sign to the audience to clap and scream your name and give you a standing ovation. So in the middle of the dance, there are some other structural techniques that you can use. And this just strengthens the routine. So we haven't just got a strong beginning, a strong end, and then a flippy floppy middle. There's some bits and bobs that you can think about in the middle too. Repetition. So if you think about all our dances that we've done this term, every time the chorus comes, we would do the same routine. If you think about Hairspray, the world keeps spinning round and round. Every time that happened, we did the arms above the head. So it just gives the audience a sense of they know what's coming. And imagine a song that had no chorus, so nothing was catchy and it constantly kept changing. It would just be a little bit odd, wouldn't it? So repetition is welcome in dance sometimes, not too much, but just to give the audience a sense of familiarity. ABA form. So this is where you start your dance and end your dance the same. So if you imagine you've got a section of dance called A, and then you do B, so that's something completely different, and then A, you go back to where you started. That's a really common structure to use for choreographers. Variation. So if you have a section, say for example our world motion, and we could repeat that, but what could you do to mix it up a bit? So you could make it bigger or smaller, you could go backwards, you could change the speed of how you're doing it, change the rhythm. So using the same moves that you already have, but just varying it a little bit to add a bit of interest and make it not too boring. Call and response. So this would be if there's more than one person in the dance. So kind of like if your mum would shout, "Dinner's on the table," and then you might respond, "Coming down now, mum." Then that's kind of how a dance would work. So one person would do a dance and move it to the other person, they stay still, and then the second dance repeats that, almost like one is asking a question and the other is answering. It's called call and response. And chants. Some of you have looked at this. I definitely know year 3 have. And this is a technique that a choreographer called Merce Cunningham uses. And say, for example, you could make 6 different moves. So we've got the spin, we've got a head nod, a kick, a leap, a turn, a drop to the floor, and you number them, and then you literally roll a dice. And if you roll a number 3 and your 3 was a kick, then you do a kick. And if you roll the dice and a 3 comes up again, that means you do 2 kicks. And then you roll and it's a 6, that means it's a drop to the floor. So you can use chance procedures such as Google Random Number Generator to decide what order your moves go in. So today's task. Your dance should be pretty much finished now. Today will be the last day we will be adding on any new moves. From tomorrow, it's just the finishing touches and filming and performing. Check you know your dance really, really well. We don't want to get to Friday and performance day and we forget it because we haven't practiced enough. So use this time to practice and make sure you're really confident. Next, you need to add a strong beginning and a strong ending onto the dance using some of the ideas we've covered in this presentation, or perhaps you've got some ideas of your own that you'd like to use. And then could you add at least one of the other structural techniques that we've mentioned? So you might want to move back in the video to remind yourself. You could use repetition, the ABA form, variation, call and response, or chants. So use at least one of those in the middle of your dance. And most importantly, have fun with it. Enjoy it. It's your dance. It's all yours. You should be really proud of what you've made up. We haven't got long left now before we do this competition. So try and add these bits and bobs in today. Best of luck, upper primary. Enjoy. See you tomorrow.